Hello, my name is B.D. Wood, known as Brian Woodson. I want to say thank you for tuning to my YouTube channel. I'm here to encourage, to inspire, to motivate, and to have real talk. To my family, to my friends, to my distinguished guests, thank you for taking time to listen today. I love doing this. I don't take this lightly, and I don't take it for granted. Today, I want to talk about a subject that I believe we all can relate to if we're truly transparent and honest today, and that is setback for a setup for a comeback. We all, if we're honest with ourselves, have had setbacks in our lives. A setback is something that happens that delays or prevents a process from developing. It slows the progress of. A comeback is a return to a former position. It's coming back from a setback. It's a return. It's a victory. It's a success. So back to setbacks. Maybe you had a setback because it was something you can't control. You was wanting to do something and something happened and it set you back. Maybe it was something that you did control or was in your hands, but you messed up, made a mistake. And the consequence was a setback. Whatever or however it happened, setbacks happen in our lives. But it does not mean that we cannot come back from it. Setbacks are meant to mold us, to shape us, for us to see that God is in control, and for us to be humble and to go with the flow and to trust the process and to trust God, His planning, His timing. We're in a pit, in a setback pretty much. We're in a pit, like Joseph was in a pit, but he made it to be the ruler of Egypt. He made it to the palace. One of my ministers at church preached a sermon from the pit to the palace. Beautiful sermon. And that's how you can look at setbacks and comebacks. We're here on this earth to be a blessing to somebody else in some kind of way. We're not just here to be existing. We're not just here just to be here 70, 80 years and just rot. We are here to impact somebody else's life. And usually the way you impact somebody else's life, and guess what? You have gone through something. They have gone through something. And so when you have gone through something, guess what we usually do? We share it with somebody who is going through it, about to go through it, or who has overcome it, to be a blessing in their lives. It is our test that becomes a testimony to be somebody else's blessing. And then it just keeps going and going and going. So what is your setback, comeback story? I think of the football player Geno Smith, who played in the NFL this year. He was a quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. We all know Russell Wilson. We all know he's married to Sierra. How beautiful and sexy she is. Just being real. Very beautiful. But anyway, he was a Denver quarterback for 10 years. He asked to be released from Seattle last year. He went to Denver Broncos. He didn't have a good year. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. He'll have a comeback story as well this year. I promise you that for sure. But Geno Smith used to be a quarterback, the starter for the New York Jets years ago. He got into some trouble, some situations happened. He no longer was a starter. He'd been a backup for years now, but he was a backup to Russell Wilson for a couple of years. Everybody thought his career was over. Geno believed in himself, and Geno worked hard. He worked hard behind the scenes. Whenever the opportunity presented itself, when Russell Wilson was hurt or whatever, he played a few games, whatever. He did what he needed to do to always be ready because he believed in himself. He knew that the comeback was coming. He had some setbacks. This year, he had a comeback story because guess what? He was a comeback player of the year. He had a fantastic and excellent year. Probably one of the best years of his career, actually. And not only that, probably one of the best years of a quarterback this year. Better than half our quarterbacks this year in the NFL. He had a setback of being starter to being on the bench for a setup for a comeback, and a comeback was being a starter this year because Russell Wilson left to go to Denver. He's a starter now, comeback player of the year, and now I'm about to get a massive contract with the Seattle Seahawks or whoever gets him a contract. Either way, he's going to be the starter somewhere. Comeback story. It's done. What about you? What is your comeback story from a setback? We all have setbacks. But remember, we are here to be a blessing to somebody else. It's not always about you. We're here to impact lives. We're here to be a blessing. Whatever it is, whatever your story is, share it. I'm not saying broadcast all your business. I'm not saying tell everything, because the Spirit will move you and will tell you, and where you can discern what to share, what not to share, and who to share it with. I know in my life, that's been my life example. And that's what I try to do on a daily basis. And that's what I try to do on this YouTube channel as well. An example, a setback for me was I was at a job. I was at a job for 4 or 5 years, a few years ago. I was the best employee, had the best numbers, had the best service level. I thought I was invincible. I'm like, they ain't gonna fire me. You know what they did? Layoffs came around, and I was in the layoff, and they called me in the office, said we had to lay you off in a few months. But then all of a sudden I had a chance to be interviewed for my job. And everybody's like, oh, you're gonna get it, you got the best service level, you're gonna get it for sure, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They didn't hire me. You know why they didn't hire me? Because they said that despite how good you are, numbers-wise, but your personality does not match with what we're looking for going forward. And I was like, wow, are you kidding me? I got the best numbers. I come in, I bust my butt, I work long hours, and you're going to let me go? But because I wasn't the outgoing, social butterfly, kiss butt, whatever person that they were looking for, I'm just being honest, because that's what they were looking for. And all of a sudden, they let me go. That was a setback for me. I was unemployed for 3 months. I had savings, thank God. And that savings went all the way down to what was a few thousand to a few dollars. And I know some of you have been through worse. And I was staying on my own. I didn't ask nobody for any help. I just prayed, trusted God, and went through the process applying for jobs. And all of a sudden, I got a temp job. And the temp job came when, like I said, I was down to my last few dollars. And God blessed me with a temp job. And I was so thankful for that. I had a temp job for a week and a half. And a job that I truly always wanted came about. So I was at a temp job for 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden I went to a job that I truly wanted, and God worked it out. My setback was I lost my full-time job making good money. And then I was in a pit for 3 to 4 months, scraping, trying to hustle, trying to figure out how am I going to get by, how am I going to make it. So people helped a little bit here and there, but mostly it was just my God and I. But then during that pit, God molded me, shaped me, and I had to trust Him more than ever in my life. And then next thing I knew, out of nowhere, when I thought it was over, when I thought it was the end, the comeback came, and God blessed me with a job. And that's what I mean by setback versus comeback. It has happened for you in some kind of way, and it's happened for me. And we all have many setback comeback stories. I can talk on here all day about my setback comebacks. And I know you can too. But I want you to think about right now, what is your setback and how was it set up for you to come back? Be a light. Be a blessing to somebody. Share it, because somebody else is going through what you have been through, what you're still going through, and what you have overcome. I pray this has blessed you, motivated you, inspired you, encouraged you in some kind of way. We all have had setbacks. Moses was a murderer, but God used him. Setback, set up, comeback. He freed the children of Israel from Pharaoh and got them to the promised land. Paul persecuted Christians, but he preached the gospel of Christ. Setback, set up for comeback. David committed adultery, but God used him for his glory, and he was a child that God owned heart. Setback, set up, comeback. We all have them. Think about it. May God bless you. Until next time, I appreciate you. I love you. Until next time. Thank you so much.